As many of you know, when you joined the Salon Team Training Facebook page, the third question asked, what is it that you wanted to get out of it? What questions did you have, et cetera? And this is one that came up that I found really interesting. And the question, I'm just going to paraphrase it. It came up something to the effect of, how do you get your associates excited about the training program? Now, I'm making an assumption here, which may be a jump, but I'm assuming that means that you've already got associates on board and you're launching a new program. So, the first thing that I say is, put yourselves in their shoes. And you have to imagine they're thinking, what does it mean to me? What's the time involved? And this is one area that I think you really have to respect. And I always call it being education burnt. Think about it, right from the time we went to school, we got burnt at education, meaning that we raised we had high expectations. We went in it with open and willing to make mistakes, but then we had the teacher that always said, wrong, and you put your guard up because, as we all know, now you're feeling judged. And that's what can happen, and especially if they've had it before, either in the school they went to, in the beauty school, or if they've been out for a little bit and they've already had people burn them by saying they did things wrong. The trust level isn't there, and the comfort level isn't there. That has to be re-energized. You have to get them comfortable with it and regain their trust. That's the first and foremost thing that I would say. Now, I would say if they can't get past that, then it might not have been a good hire, and it might not be a good fit, but you'll find that out once they get into the training. However, now there's three things that I always say, and I'm going to speak to this more from a coach side than I am going to be from a training side, because there's one thing that you learn as being a coach is you've got to get people to visualize. If you have a track star, whatever, pick your sport, whatever that might be, is you'll notice that a lot of them are using the coaches that will help them with their mindset, with their attitude, with their performance, because half of it is about the attitude. So there's three areas that you want to hit, and I always think of this VHR: visualize, honest, and reassure. So visualize is the same way as you would do somebody that is an athlete, and let's say they're a runner and they're trying to break that 10-second 100-yard dash, and they're doing 10.5, 10.6, and they can't seem to get there. The first thing that they've got to do is visualize themselves being there. Once they can visualize that gains their confidence. They then can get the performance. Now it's just about technique. Same way with the people that are your associates. I would sit down with each one beforehand and say, I want you to visualize where you are. Let's say the training is done. You're on the floor. I want you to visualize what it is and the type of stylist that you want to be, this type of work that you want to do. I want you to picture yourself with your stylist, and I want them to see them, how happy they are when you're done with their work. I want you to visualize yourself with your family. I want you to visualize yourself when you get that paycheck. What is it that you want to do? What's some of the first things that, as you build up to it, you're going to buy? Is it you want to invest in a home? Is it you're going to invest in a car? What is it that you're going to start to put some of this hard work towards? Now, the key part of that, and the reason why you want to visualize it, I'd even get them to say, I want you to tell me, what does it feel like when you're in that kind of position? So what you're trying to do is reaffirm inside this as much as what they can get it, so they really truly believe in themselves when it's there. Now, the reason why this is so important, just like that track star, when they're trying to make that get from 10.5 and even get to 10.4 and they're not doing it, and they're going to obviously have frustration. They may get angry at themselves. There's going to be all these emotions that will come out when there's this moment that they are having a hard time. And if you can just be honest with them at that time. So first one is visualize, next one is being honest. if you've done that visualization process at the beginning, when, let's say I'm just going to, hopefully this doesn't happen, but they're cutting their bob, they're finishing that look, they've done a color and it doesn't work, and they've had some stuff going on at home, and they say they break down, or they're just having a really bad moment. Then that's when you get them to just to be honest with them. Look, at when this is going on, you're going to feel this way. This is just a part of what learning something new is about. And I want you to go back, and I want you to relive what that feeling is like, and what that feeling is like at the very beginning. Now, the fact that you're going back, and the third part of that is reassure. When you reassure them by getting them to relive that visualization, what it feels like at the end, they're still going to have that emotion, but all of a sudden it gives them hope at the other end of it. They just know they're going to go through that phase before they take to the next step. And then when they get it right, that's where you celebrate the hell out of it. You give them high fives, say, I knew you could do it. I'm on your side. We've got your back on this. So even at the very beginning, when you tell them to visualize it, and then tell them right then, you're going to have some stumbling blocks on there. The reason why this happens, if I'm not there, I want you to draw on what you're visualizing right now. So I'm sure this makes sense to you. And as a coach, that's what you're going to be as their leader, their coach. If you're going to be getting your leadership team to take on the training as from the owner's perspective, if you're the owner, make sure that they watch this video so they've got some tips on how to coach them. So just remember, visualize, be honest with them, and reassure at the end, get them to relive that moment.